A little bit of activity at Hive left, but a ton of activity at Hive right. Like full tilt middle of summer mode. Crazy. Alright, today is June 16th. We are going to get into both hives, and I don't have Sophie with me today. I have Darcy. She's going to help me record, and we're going to check both hives, see how well they're putting brood on the frames, see if they filled out our frames that were empty with honeycomb, and if so, today might be a good day to add on our honey supers with flow frames. So on our hive left, we're going to put a full flow frame box, and on hive right, we're going to do a 3-frame box, and then the outside frames are just regular frames, so they can draw comb on them, and we can still harvest honey off of them, but we can also harvest the wax off of them. We got our queen excluders, and we should be all ready to go. So let's jump in. Alright, so we're in hive right. I'm going to actually move the smoker because it's really going well. Hive right's definitely the busier hive, and it's got, the top box had, I think, 3 or 4 frames that had nothing on them at all 2 weeks ago. So we are going to pull the first one here, and I can't even believe this. That is a completely drawn brand new frame. So they are definitely done with their top box and ready to start putting honey away in it. So we'll check the rest of them real quick, and then we'll figure out what we'll do. We'll check the bottom super too and just see how the queen's doing laying eggs, and then we'll get into our flow frames. So that's still a honey frame. That's an old one, so not much to check on that. Still lots of room to store honey. I believe this next one might have been a new frame, and that is now a brood frame. So on any of these brood frames, Darce, we could end up seeing a queen, so keep your eyes open. So you can get a little closer. Don't zoom in to get close, just walk up and get close, because zooming in ruins the quality of the video. So that, half of that frame has capped brood on it, on both sides. So you can see that side's all capped brood. So she's in the top box, laying brood, so that's good. See how much more frames she's got brood on versus honey. We kind of want her laying brood up there and using the honey super to store honey. So right now the 2 outside frames are honey frames, but that is a solid brood frame, packed one side to the other, all brood.
It's awesome.
All brood on this side, one side to the other, top to bottom. That is packed with brood. This thing is going to explode in the next 2 weeks. So that's 2 brood frames in the top box. Oh, girls. And a honey frame with brood in the middle, actually. So that's 3 brood frames in the top box. Still no sign of our queen. I don't see her on this one anywhere. But that is a brood frame. We've got larvae everywhere, so you can see right here, Darce. That's all larvae. So that's a good looking frame. She's definitely packing this hive out. And that is a complete honey frame, and it's got a ton of drone on it.
How can you tell?
So these are all drone right here. Those are 4 drone. These are all drone. Drones come in and basically eat honey. That's all they do. They come in, eat honey, and go out and look for queens. So that's why on a honey frame you would find a drone. So top box is looking good. 3 frames with brood. We'll get into the bottom box and check that out once I get that open. So we'll check that out in a second. Bottom box out. So we still have 1 frame in the bottom that they have not drawn anything on. So that's alright. We'll get to it. Here is the next frame on the bottom that they were supposed to be drawn. So they're cruising on it. I mean, they're not done yet, but they're working on them. That's fez tuning right there. That's when they link together. So I almost have that one drawn. A little bit more to go in the corners. Still no queen. So that's probably why she's on 3 frames upstairs, because the first 3 frames we pulled down here aren't even brood frames. So she's only got 4 to 5 brood frames down here. So let's see if we can find her real quick here. So that is a brood frame that's hatched. And I do not see her. Darcy, if you see her, just let me know.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too hard to locate her, but that's all capped brood. So that's looking good. Definitely good signs. Brood everywhere in the hive. Oh, girls. So this is the frame that she's able to hide on because it's got crevices in it. That entire frame is capped brood from one edge to the other.
Why is it so dark looking?
Because it's a brood frame. So the brood frames always get dark because they keep laying brood in them again and again and again. So she could be in those crevices, but I don't see her. So that is one awesome brood frame though. So let's see if we can find her here real quick. We'll just keep going until we spot her.
That looks like a heavy
Tell
one.
me if you see her. She'll hide on these because they have crevices.
Yeah.
So the brood frames actually aren't heavy. It's crazy.
I don't
The brood
see
is so light. But
the heavy ones.
The honey
Oh,
frames
sorry.
are
I do
almost
not see her.
twice the size, or twice the weight of like a brood frame. So there's a few drone cells on this frame. But again, a completely packed brood frame. So, keep going here. I don't remember if she had all of these as brood frames or not. Oh yeah, that's a brood frame. You can tell by the weight. Tell me if you see her. So that's half brood. No queen?
No queen.
Dang. Lots of brood though. Brood on all these frames. Let's see if we can find her on the last frame. There she is. See her?
Oh, sure do, yeah. I'm going to zoom in for
Okay.
this. There's Ruby.
So she's on a frame that they just started laying, it looks like. Right next to her other brood frame. So I'm going to get her back in the hive. She's looking good. She's busy. Definitely busy. So that is good news. The top's completely framed out. The bottom's got 2 to go, but I think they can get to it. I think we'll probably go ahead and put those supers on. So we'll button this back up, and I'll catch back up with you when we add those honey supers. See ya. Alright, so we got the hive put back together. We got everything ready to go. We're just going to go ahead and get our queen excluder put on, the top one here.
And what does that do?
So this keeps the queen out of the honey super so that she won't lay eggs in our honey frames. No eggs, pure honey. So again, this super has, I switched the sides that the windows go on, so you can see the back is the windows for extracting the honey from. And then the front, this side has our viewing window.
So you're not putting the extractor on the right side there, here?
No, they go back here, so we'll extract everything from this side. And then we can come right here and check our frames and see where they're at with getting caps on and getting frames built out, and keep an eye on them. So again, this one's going to have unwired frames for them to draw comb on, and then it's got 3 flow frames, and that's it. If we want, we can extract honey off of these and wax, or what I can do is after I pull both honey supers off that had honey in the flow frames, that's going to leave them with a shortage of honey. So what I might end up doing is taking 2 frames from this one, and the 2 frames from this side, and actually giving the hives honey frames back to make it through the winter. And then in the springtime, if they've pulled all the honey out of them, then I'll come extract the wax from them and use the wax and let them refill the frames. So it's just a way for us to supplement some honey for them. If we empty all the flow frames out, then we can give them these frames back with honey on them. So we will button this hive up, and they're off and running with honey production, hopefully. We've got Russian sage coming to bloom. Bloomus spirea will be here soon, so there's a lot of flowers getting ready to bloom that'll get them in some nectar flows. So we'll button this one up and we'll check out hive left.